What up? How's it going? How y'all feeling tonight? How y'all feeling? Um, first things first. First things first. What I want to do is say, hey, what's up? Welcome to Marcus Speaks. I'm your host, Marcus. How are you doing today? Or tonight, I should say. Um, so tonight's episode, as usual, um I will be going over the Derek Chauvin case. Okay. This is week 3 of the Derek Chauvin case. Not much happened, but it was very interesting to say the least. So I want to talk about that tonight. I want to also talk about the murder of Daunte Wright, um, and also the disrespect that the Windsor, Virginia police department showed Second Lieutenant Caron Nazario. And I'm going to share a slight little twist of how Caron is closely related in a way to uh, a person that died at the hands of a police officer. So I'll be going over that tonight. But as it's commonplace, I'd like to bring up fair use. Um, so basically, with this, it's basically a safety net for me, so I don't get in trouble. But um, I just want to bring that up for the simple fact that with me, with certain points I make, there are certain videos I have to play. Um, and also with my videos, there's certain pictures I have to make as well. So let me find this picture real fast. And all right. So with the fair use law allows me to use videos or pictures or anything that I deem to use within my podcast. Which, with that, there's policies against this on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm streaming live right now to Facebook and to YouTube. So, I'd like to say to that, hey, this is the law. I'm not breaking the law at all, and I'd like to say to y'all with this as well, fair use. It's the law. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videos, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. So, with me, I criticize when I show videos, and I also teach in a way, not really, but in a way. I teach along with every video that I show, so I'm under fair use law. All right. So, also want to go over one thing real fast to everyone that's watching. I am here every Saturday at 6:30. I started on time today, thank God. And I actually started a minute before, but whatever. But I'm trying to find my damn iPhone. Alright, there we go. Well, no, I actually don't need this anymore. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So let me take the fair use down. But yes, I am here every Saturday at 6:30 until. So if you got something to do, shit, and you're watching this Pop your headphones in if you're on your phone, or if you're working in your house somewhere, just turn the volume up and get to what you're doing. I'll describe some of the things that I'm talking about. You might have to look over, but if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. If you're at work, keep your laughter and all criticism to a minimum, so nobody thinks that you're crazy who's working next to you. So, yes, I'm here every Saturday at 6:30. Also, I'm here on Fridays, which I should update this. I'm here on Fridays as well with my Marcus Speaks Play show at 6:30 as well. That usually runs like maybe an hour, hour and a half. So you won't be here as long as you're here on this show. But, this show's more educational. That show's more playful. What else I got going on? Don't be shy. Put something up in that comment section. All right. Put something up in that comment section. Talk to me. And if you just talk. Just make certain points. If you have certain points, I'll make sure I look over and look at what you're saying in the chat. So I know that you're engaging with what's going on. Also, please follow me on social media at my Facebook page at Marcus Speaks. That's the personal page. The Facebook group page for the podcast is Marcus Speaks Podcast. And that's really about it with the social media. But I also would like you guys to like, comment, and share this video. And if you catch this, after the live stream, put something up in the comment section. I'll get the notification. If it's something that I should answer or something, I'll make sure I'll answer you. But yeah, let's do all that good stuff, yo. So who's ready to get into the first topic? So let me share my screen with y'all real fast. So, y'all's boy, Derek Chauvin, he got himself. Well, he didn't really get himself in any trouble, but he basically this week, which I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into to his commentary in the case. Let me do that. Let me do this picture in picture so I can see him better. So, Derek Chauvin, this was the third week of the Derek Chauvin Trial. So, this week was pretty much the end of the case, sort of, as we have next week to go. But on Monday morning, the beginning of this week, Monday morning, on April 12th, the prosecuting attorneys side, they rested their case this week. They had no more further witnesses. They had no more further evidence that they had to go through. They had no further witnesses, if I didn't already say that, to go through. They had a total of 38 witnesses altogether, with this case. Everybody that was at the they had everybody from everybody from who was outside in front of Cup Foods where everything happened at. They they had the dispatcher, they had the gas station attendant, they had the store clerk from Cup Foods. That was within the first 2 weeks that, and they had experts as well. So their experts, their witnesses, that was all the first 2 weeks. So this week, Monday, like I said, they rested their case. Their part of the case is done. They're just waiting for their closing arguments, which is going to happen next Monday, along with the jury the jury deliberation and of everything, going over the evidence and making sure that they look at all of the evidence that was presented, which I think with the evidence that they collected, I think it's over like 1,000 or so. Well, let me not say that. It was hundreds of pages and hundreds of videos because they was collecting street videos from people's phones. They collected evidence from body cams. They collected videos from surveillance systems that was on the street that the city pays for. Just in case there's a wreck or something, dispatchers can look at the like the dispatcher Jenna Scurry looked up at the her monitor and saw that Derek Chauvin and them was on top of George Floyd for a long time. So what was I getting at? Oh yeah, so yeah, prosecution's side is done. Their side's done. So but the prosecuting attorneys still can still cross-examine this week, as well as them bringing back ace in their pocket that they had that testified last week. He was the guy I said that sounded like a James Bond villain. He came back. Dr. Martin Tobin. He came back because he was actually, and I'll get into this a little bit into what I'm talking about tonight. He basically was rebutting something that that a witness that the defense called in. Now the defense had, I think, all of maybe 7, 8, maybe 9 witnesses this week. Which to me, I'm like, damn, like, why did they wait so long to call in their witnesses? Maybe the state maybe had home court advantage or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, this week the defense called their witnesses and it was like a circus. The people that they brought in. So let's go through this. Let me show y'all this picture. So this was their first witness, Dr. Fowler. Wait a minute. Before Dr. Fowler, I'm gonna keep this picture up, but I'm gonna keep this picture up, but I'm gonna unshare the screen real fast so I can show y'all this video real fast. So cue the video up real fast. Damn, I wish I had somebody working here with me. Okay. That's me, sir. All right. So, last week I talked about somebody that, I'm going to turn this music down. So, last week, there was a guy, I think the second week, he was supposed to testify, but he pleaded the fifth because he didn't want to further incriminate himself. Now, the reason why he didn't want to further incriminate himself is for the simple fact is that when he was rolling with George, he might. Well, number one, he had some other warrants that I guess was served to him, and he has a whole different type of legal issue going on right now. But he had to personally tell the judge because he had to come in this week after his Zoom call in to the court last week. He basically pleaded the fifth last week, and also it still stands. The judge said so. He gets to plead the fifth and invoke his Fifth Amendment right because he was called back to court to talk about his involvement in what the hell did I write? Basically talk about the day of when he was with George Floyd, and it's somebody else that was with him. But I'll get into what she talked about later on as well. But because basically what I was saying last week is that he was involved because he personally sold George some drugs. So he didn't want to personally be in it for the simple fact that he didn't want to further incriminate himself along with anything else that he had going on. So this is what the judge and him had to talk about.
Did either counsel wish to be heard before?
Okay, hold on. I got the okay.
I inquire Mr. Hall. Counsel, if you could come up to the podium.
Good morning, Your Honor. Adrian Cousins and Jeff Isaacman appearing on behalf of Mr. Hall, who again is present in the courtroom. Your Honor, where we last left off at the last hearing was you had instructed defense counsel to submit a list of questions on a very narrow topic to see whether or not Mr. Hall could answer a very narrowly tailored set of questions and whether or not his Fifth Amendment privilege would be implicated in those questions. I've had a chance to review those questions, Judge. I've reviewed them with Mr. Hall. And to summarize, Mr. Hall cannot answer any of the questions that defense put forward. And I'm happy to expand on the reasons why he can't answer any of those questions.
Let's just focus on how Mr. Floyd looked in the SUV, because that was the very limited group of questions that I thought might not incriminate him.
Absolutely, Judge. And if you look at the list that defense proposed, I think that really starts getting into that topic at question 7. So question 7 proposed by the defense was, after conducting your business in Cup Foods, did you return to the vehicle with Mr. Floyd? Mr. Hall cannot answer that question. Mr. Hall cannot put himself in that car with Mr. Floyd. Again, this was a car that was searched twice. And
he was in the car with him. Reason being he's pleading the fifth is because with the defense's side, that proves their case, sort of. Because if you guys have been following what I've been talking about these past few weeks, the defense's side is basically that George had an overdose. George Floyd had an overdose off of fentanyl and methamphetamines. So the defense's argument is that it wasn't Derek Chauvin that cut his carotid artery off from blood to flow to his brain, which caused him to go into cardiac arrest. It was the drugs that basically put him that gave him an overdose, and which caused his cardiac arrest, would cause him to die. That would personally make the defense's side plausible in all of this, for the simple fact that that approved their point that since Maurice Hall was in the car and he sold him, some stuff, that it but really only proves that George had drugs. It doesn't prove that he had an overdose. It's proven more that he was on drugs. Not to say that when he bought them, he took the drugs right away. That's not to say that he was even on drugs in the first place. Because if you remember what I said last week, along with I think it was Martin Tobin, and as well as the other guy, I forgot his name. But basically their arguments was there weren't enough drugs in his system that would cause an overdose. That's just me paraphrasing. But it's smart for the simple fact of what Maurice is doing, is because I'm pretty sure that his lawyer had to talk to him about what the defense and the prosecution was doing. I'm pretty sure they had to share that information with her so he can share it with him. So, with that, I'm not him, but I'm just thinking in a way that he probably was like, okay, well, I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one. Not only because of my involvement in this, is because I got other legal issues that I got to deal with, and I can't deal with this right now. So that's smart on his point, or on his part, I mean. But this is also what they had to say.
Drugs were recovered twice. If Mr. Hall puts himself in that car, he exposes himself to constructive possession charges of the drugs that were found in that car. And it's important to note, Judge, that Mr. Hall exposes himself to that charge whether or not Mr. Chauvin is convicted or acquitted. Whatever happens with this case, the state can still come back and charge Mr. Hall with constructive possession of drugs in that car, so he can't put himself in that car.
All right.
Furthermore,
so I'll go past this to when he stepped to the stand.
Did you notice a change in Mr. Floyd's behavior while sitting in the car? How would you
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
You understand, Mr. Hall, you do have a Fifth Amendment right not to be compelled to incriminate yourself. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. And you understand that applies even when you are not one of the parties to the case, but when you're a witness in a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You understand that your attorney, and I'm sure they have given you advice about whether to invoke your Fifth Amendment right against compelled self-incrimination. But ultimately, it's your choice. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you'll have to speak up just a little bit, and I'll turn up the podium. There we go. You understand this is your choice, so you can disregard the advice of your attorneys if you wanted to.
Yes, sir.
Which would be a mistake if he did. So he's doing the right thing right now.
Knowing all that, you've had a chance to look at the questions that were proposed by both sides?
I have.
Would you be willing to answer those if I were to put you on the stand and swear you in as a witness?
No, I am not.
Okay, and why would you not answer those?
I'm fearful of criminal charges going forward. I have open charges that's not settled yet of my personal stuff.
So basically, you are invoking your Fifth Amendment right against compelled self-incrimination?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Any of the parties wish to be heard on this issue?
All right.
I think we've had argument already, but just in case there's anything else. All right, I'm going to advise both sides to file your proposed questions.
All right. So that was that argument that basically that he didn't want to plead, so I mean he didn't want to step onto the stand, so that basically puts a damper on the defense's side. So with that, so with that, I'm gonna get into what I was gonna get into before, which is with the Fowler, Dr. Fowler. So Dr. Fowler was the attorney, not the attorney. I think he's a medical examiner. He's a retired medical examiner for for Minnesota, I believe. But he retired from Maryland. He was a Maryland medical examiner. So he sorry. So he all right, never mind. I can't do it. All right, so he's the medical examiner that I think looked over the evidence of what one of the state prosecuting attorneys work that they did, and he's for the defense. So he basically had it to where the defense was talking to him about putting, so like he basically set into motion that George Floyd didn't die from asphyxia, sorry, but by a drug overdose that led to his death, which caused, from the cardiac arrest or whatever. So, he basically rules that the drugs, and also because this is what Dr. Martin Tobin had to dispute from what he said. He said not only was it from the drugs, it was from the car exhaust that also causes death, because he took it to where since George was shouting that he couldn't breathe, it was from the car exhaust, which why he couldn't catch a breath, and it was from the drugs he was on. Now, I can believe that part when it comes with the car exhaust, and not only the car exhaust, having three people on you at the same time, which that wouldn't prove the defense's side as right. That would basically prove the state attorney's right. So the defense basically stuck a foot in their own ass for that, because when Martin Tobin comes back, and when I show y'all that video, he he basically was on the stand, basically just talking about, you know, how not only was the car exhaust, the drugs, and all of that the cause of his death. He tried to blame George's addiction as well for being on drugs, also for his overdose for cause of death. But like with all of that, he didn't really make it a good day for the defense because, like I said, Martin Tobin comes back and he proves all that wrong. So I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let Dr. Fowler talk.
Summarize briefly what your opinions are in this case.
Yes. So, in my opinion, Mr. Floyd had a sudden cardiac arrhythmia due to his atherosclerotic and hypertensive heart disease, or you can write that down multiple different ways. During his restraint and subdual by the police, or restraint by the police, and then his significant contributory conditions would be, since I've already put the heart disease in part 1, he would have the toxicology, the fentanyl and methamphetamine. There is exposure to a vehicle exhaust, so potentially carbon monoxide poisoning, or at least an effect from increased carbon monoxide in his bloodstream, and paraganglionoma, or the other natural disease process that he has. So all of those combined to cause Mr. Floyd's death.
All right. So that was that. So all of it's believable. It's all believable. But it doesn't prove that was the cause of his death, because the 3 experts they had last week was Dr. Tobin, it was a lady that was a medical examiner, and then it was another guy. I forgot his name. But I said last week, if y'all check last week's video out, I said that his testimony, along with Dr. Tobin's testimony, was the two most compelling. Their testimonies was the 2 most viable testimonies of this whole case. So I feel like if I was on the jury, I didn't know anything about this case other than just seeing the video. I didn't know what anything was about. And if I was a juror on this case, I would, like I'm saying now, with those 2 testimonies from Dr. Tobin and the other guy, I would have paid attention to that, and when I went to go to deliberation, that would have been the first thing I would have brought up in deliberation. Was I want to look at both of these guys' testimonies again if we can, or read the transcript or whatever of what they said, because and I will want to listen to Dr. Tobin's rebuttal back to Dr. Fowler to show the other jurors that, hey man, like, if you listen to both of these guys and then you listen to Dr. Tobin's mainly, and then after we look at Fowler's testimony and then go back and listen to Dr. Tobin's rebuttal to him, what are we doing here? Let's guilty. Let's do this. Let's lock this guy up. Which Derek's looking at 75 years in jail, man. So either way, with every charge, let's lock him up. let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's I mean, let's like y'all see the evidence. Y'all heard all the testimonies. Y'all had the circus of last week. Y'all understand that we seen this video. We saw what happened. We saw him. We saw George Floyd say, "I can't breathe" for several minutes until we didn't hear him again. What is there not to fucking listen to anymore? But I will be going crazy in that chamber with my other jurors because luckily I can't do jury duty, but I'm just saying it's it's an open and shut case. Come on now, it's an open and shut case. So the next guy is I think he's an officer. I think he's retired as well. Barry Brood. So he got brought in for the simple fact that he was there for use of force. I guess he's like a use of force expert. So his testimony and his key point was that Derek Chauvin's use of force was reasonable. It was active. What did he say? Yeah, it was reasonable. It followed all police department policies, and he basically kept saying that that use of force that we're taught. Not only are we taught that, we also have to improvise. Which when I heard him say that, I was like, the balls of this motherfucker to say this shit. Like, why are you sitting up here fucking lying? You're under oath, sir. Why are you lying? You saw the video. The jury saw the video, and everybody that's in that room saw the video. How is what he did reasonable under the department policy rules? No, it's not. Come on. Quit bullshitting with me. What else? What else did I write? So yeah, he basically feels like Derek did nothing wrong. So let me play this for y'all. Here y'all go.
Now, based upon your training and experience and your expertise in the use of force matters, your review of the materials that have been provided to you, have you formed opinions in this particular case to a reasonable degree of professional certainty?
I have.
And can you just briefly overview your opinions in this particular case?
I felt that Derek Chauvin was justified, was acting with objective reasonableness, following Minneapolis Police Department policy and current standards of law enforcement and his interactions with Mr. Floyd. Okay. So as you're reviewing an incident such as this, you have to try to see it through the eyes of the officers on the scene. What factors were they dealing with? What circumstances? What was the suspect doing? What were onlookers doing? Were there environmental hazards? And then try to put yourself in the officer's shoes to see the decisions they made, were they objectively reasonable or not.
So you would agree with the other people who've testified in this case that the standard involves objective reasonableness? Agree?
Yes, I do.
Based on the totality of facts and circumstances of this case?
That were present to the officer at the time.
And a view from a reasonable police officer on the scene?
Yes.
And what about hindsight?
So it's easy to sit and judge in an office on an officer's conduct. It's more of a challenge to, again, put yourself in the officer's shoes to try to make an evaluation through what they're feeling, what they're sensing, the fear they have, and then make a determination.
All right. So that's That's what he had to say. And I'll play this for y'all a little later.
Expertise in the use of force matters.
All right, so to add more fuel to the fire, there was another guy, and I'm gonna leave this up. So, it was a college professor by the name of Seth Stoughton. He is an ex-police officer. I think he said he had police experience of like 2 or 3 years. Then he wanted to further his knowledge in law, so he went back to school, and now he's a law professor at the the University of South Carolina. So the defense basically asked him, what in his experience of being a police officer and also knowing the law. So I'm guessing he reviews as well all of the police policies and stuff like that. Or he reviewed all of the police policies of the Minnesota Police Department, of which Derek Chauvin was working at. So he basically gave his opinion of what he thought George's cause of death was, and this is what he had to say. There's a brief video that he was looking at. It was of it wasn't Derek Chauvin's camera. It was either Officer Lane and I've been saying this man's name wrong. Well, it's two people. I've been saying their name wrong. It's Judge Cahill. I was calling him Cahill or Cahill, whatever. I'm sorry for that. I'm cleaning that up now. It's Judge Cahill, and it's also the other officer whose name I was getting wrong. I was calling him Keon or whatever. It was Officer King. Officer King or something like that. I don't know how the hell they got King at a K. What was his name? Kueng. I don't know how the hell they got King out of that, but whatever. So, this is what he had to say. This is what Professor Seth Stoughton had to say. Roll aside.
All right. Can you please, if you can move forward, please explain to the jury what you heard that was relevant to your analysis in that exchange.
This is him being cross-examined.
So an officer who's suggesting or asking about whether they should roll Mr. Floyd onto the side, and you hear the defendant say no, he's staying put. They're going to keep him from restraint.
What was the significance of that?
It would indicate to a reasonable officer that at least one person there did not feel that Mr. Floyd presented the level of threat that required them to keep him in that prone restraint position. That at least one person was suggesting we can flip him onto the side, or should we flip him onto the side.
So y'all see there, they got. I think that's after his death.
Again, we heard a similar exchange. Is that right?
Yes, we did, along with one of the bystanders in the background saying he's not responsive right now. Both of those are factors to consider in identifying the threat that Mr. Floyd presented. If he's not responsive, obviously he can't present any threat. And the fact that you have an officer suggesting roll him onto his side, again, suggests the perception that officers are fully capable of maintaining custody and control of Mr. Floyd without keeping him in that prone restraint position. There are also foreseeable effects of keeping someone in that prone position. Prominently, what's called positional asphyxia, someone who starts having trouble breathing, who can't take in over time the amount of oxygen that they need to sustain their life functions. This is something that's been very well known in policing for at least going on 30 years. The prone restraint position limits the ability of someone to breathe. And there are some additional specific factors relevant to this case that increase the susceptibility of Mr. Floyd to positional asphyxia. And that a reasonable officer would have known prior to the use of force.
All right. So that was that. And Seth, when he was being cross-examined, I could personally feel that the defense was melting in their seat. For the simple fact is that you brought this guy here, right? You brought this guy here to basically plead your side of everything. But during cross-examination with, I forgot that lawyer's name. So I apologize. But you heard his testimony when he was being cross-examined, and they basically told him, he basically told the court that when in the prone position, your air is restricted. Now, there's been several other experts that said the same damn thing. Open and shut case. Send them to jail. So I really don't see the jury going against the state in their evidence and from what their own eyes saw. So hopefully, and I'll reiterate what I said a few weeks ago, if the jury, and it's good that nobody knows what the hell they look like, because I'm gonna try to clean up what I'm about to say, because I don't want to say what I was thinking. So the jury, good thing that nobody knows what they look like, because it would be bad for them. So if the jury goes against public opinion, evidence that they've saw and heard, and the testimonies of every witness, and the arguments that the state attorney's office of was it Minneapolis, if they go against that and rule in Derek Chauvin's favor of him not being guilty at all from his heinous crime that he committed against, that would set a precedent across the country that this is the way that you handle black occupants when you're detaining them. So if they go against that, like the notion of hearing everything that they heard, I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Like, it's not going to be a good day in America. Yeah, it's not going to be a good day in America. And we're almost approaching the 1 year anniversary. Well, let's not say anniversary. We'll be reaching the 1 year mark of George Floyd's death. So it's whatever that they want to do. So the ball is in the jury's court at this point in time. All right, so I really don't want to show this shit. All right, so the defense called another witness to the stand. So her name is Shawanda Hill. Shawanda Hill was also in the car along with George and Maurice Hall. Shawanda Hill is George Floyd's ex-girlfriend. I don't know how long they were together. I don't care about that. So the defense called her to the stand, and the defense basically asked her side of the story of what she saw and what she thought was going on the day in question. Her testimony was just like the testimony of one of the girls of the first. I think she was either the first day. I don't know. It was some white girl. Y'all have to go back on that. Just like how she didn't want to be there and say anything, Shawanda Hill also didn't want to be there and say anything about this because just like the other girl, she didn't want to be involved. But since you was an occupant in the car becomes a crime scene or in evidence, you're a part of it now. You're a part of the crime scene and the evidence. So, she basically was, I'm not going to say she was on the stand acting a fool, but she was on the stand twitching and doing all kinds of stuff. But you could show her demeanor that she didn't want to be there at all. So, here's her testimony. Let me turn this back down. All right.
May 25th of 2020, do you recall that date?
Yes.
On that date, were you at the Cup Foods located in Minneapolis?
Yes.
I'm not going to show all of this. I'm just going to show a little bit.
While you were there.
Yes, George Floyd.
And while you were at the Cup Foods or in the Cup Foods, did you have an opportunity to observe Mr. Floyd's behavior, demeanor, things of that nature?
Yes.
How would you describe Mr. Floyd's behavior while inside of the Cup Foods?
Happy, normal, talking, alert.
Okay. Did he offer to give you a ride?
Yes.
All right. So, with that being said, y'all remember the video I showed of him being inside of the store? The girl that you saw him talking to before he got rung up, that's her. So she basically was giving her side of the story of what she saw and what she felt about how she thought he was thinking. Not thinking, but feeling. All right, so let's get back into it.
Back to wherever it was you were going. And so did you go to his car with him?
Yes.
Once you got into the car, did you observe any changes to his demeanor?
When we were in the car for the first 8 minutes, we were talking and, hugging, talking about what we were talking about. And then I got a phone. And so I was on the phone for the rest of the time until the little boys came to the car. He fell asleep at that time.
So at some point during the course of the time that you were in the car with Mr. Floyd suddenly fell asleep.
Yes.
Right? And the phone call you received, was that from your daughter?
Yes.
And so you were talking with your daughter during that time?
Yes.
And you described, would you agree that at some point, you said some little boys, are those employees of the store?
Yes.
That's okay. The store employees came and approached the car, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, Mr. Floyd suddenly fell asleep?
He was already asleep.
He was already sleeping?
Yes. When they came to the car. And when they came there, tried to wake him up. They tried to wake him up. I tried to wake him up over and over. And his friend tried to wake him up, and he woke up. Then he'll say something. He made a little gesture, and nodded back off.
Okay.
Was that a couple times?
Was that kind of a sudden change from how you observed him in the store to the car?
Yes, but he already told me in the store he was tired because he had been working.
Object.
Objection, Carlos?
Overruled. All right. So her whole testimony. I don't know if I keep. No, I didn't. I showed y'all her picture. So basically, her whole testimony was basically her recollection of what she saw and what she thought. I'm gonna give y'all the YouTube channel again. Star Tribune. I will also add Care, ABC Care, which is Minneapolis's news channel that they use. Their ABC channel. So also, if you want to look any of this up, but Star Tribune gives little snippets and cuts of certain moments of the case. So I would recommend mostly Star Tribune. StarTribune. So if y'all want to look at any of this stuff that I'm showing, YouTube, Star Tribune. Okay. So I'm not sure in any other state they do this, but there is a there's I'm guessing it's a law of some sort to where a family member or a like a friend of the family or what have you that knows the person personally can come up and give a testimony. It has nothing to do with the case, but it basically puts them in a good light to where when the jury goes to deliberate, they can understand the person more than what they know about the person as well. So they brought George's brother Felonious Floyd to the stand, and his part of everything was basically the spark of life. He's basically the spark of life guy to basically give everybody the notion of how good of a person George Floyd was. So he basically was telling the court how good of a person George was and like how much he loved his mom, how much he loved his family, how much he I might have spelled his name wrong. But how like just basically like that their time growing up as kids and stuff like that, and you know basically telling them how much of a family man George Floyd was, which basically gave it gave more to the case to where if someone was watching all of this like technical babble that you probably couldn't understand even if you could, he basically lightened everything up and gave an insight of who George Floyd really was. And I think that was a good thing that that what that law does, the spark of life. So he basically he got emotional on the stand by talking about his brother because he loved his brother just like anybody else who was talking about a family member that they've lost, they will also get emotional about it. And he gave so good of a testimony about his brother. I don't see how the jury can go against even what he had to say about George. So let me unshare this, and then let me bring the video back up, and I'll have him talk to you about George.
I'd like you to tell the jury a little bit about your brother, George Floyd. First, can you tell the jury where and when he was born?
He was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, but he left at a young age. We moved to Houston, Texas, and I have two other sisters that are older than us. It's Jaja Floyd, Latonya Floyd, then became George Floyd, and I'm next Phalonis Floyd, and my other brother Rodney Floyd, who's my mom's baby boy. But if you all were there in our house, you'll see George had lines on the wall because he will always measure with his height, trying to see how tall he is, because he wanted to be taller all the time because he loved sports. So he always wanted to be the best.
Sir, would you please describe this photo and what you know about it?
That's my mother. She's no longer with us right now, but that's my oldest brother, George. I miss both of them. I was married. In May 24th, I got married. And my brother was killed May 25th. And my mom died on May 30th. So it's like a bittersweet month because I'm supposed to be happy when that month comes.
Going back to growing up in CUNY homes, can you please tell the jury what role George Floyd had as the older brother in that household?
He was so much of a leader to us in the household. He would always make sure that we had our clothes for school. He made sure that we all were going to be to school on time. And like I told you, George couldn't cook, but he'll make sure you have a snack or something to get in the morning. But he was one of those people in the community that when they had church outside, people would attend church just because he was there. Nobody would go out there until they seen him. And he just was like a person that everybody loved around the community. He just knew how to make people feel better. He went to school at Blackshear Elementary, and from Blackshear it was Ryan Middle School, and from Ryan it was Jack Yates High School, played football.
Approximately how old would George Floyd have been when this picture was taken?
Like 18 or 17 at that time.
And you talked about basketball and playing basketball. If I could show Exhibit 287 to the witness. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes, sir.
Is there a picture of your brother in this photo?
Yeah, he's number 5, South Florida, all the way in the left-hand corner. South Florida was a community college. I'm looking at it. I noticed a whole bunch of the ball players because I met a lot of them coming up.
Did George Floyd maintain his level of fitness and level of basketball throughout his life?
Yes, sir. He loved to work out. He loved playing basketball. He loved teaching people the game of basketball. That's, to me, where I really learned how to play from him because he guided a lot of guys on the court.
Interested in football, or had a passion for football, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Would he play catch with you?
He would play catch with us. It's funny how I always thought that my brother couldn't throw, but he never intended to throw the ball to me. he will always throw it at an angle where I have to go chase it and jump for it or dive for it. And I came up to him one day. I said, man, I see why you play tight end and stuff, because you can't throw it all. And he was like, I don't want to throw the ball to you, because if I throw it to you, you'll never understand. You have to go get the ball. He said, the ball should never come to you. You should always tell yourself, I'm going to go get the football, because you have to attack the ball. That's what he told me.
All right. So there's more to that. The video's 10 minutes. So if you guys want to go and check the video out yourself, you can. Like I said, over at Star Tribune. Star Tribune isn't paying me to say none of this stuff. It's just that's who I've been going to watch this whole case. And I think several other people as well have been going to that channel to listen to that as well. All right. So let me so the defense brought video camera footage, right? So the defense brought the footage. It really don't mean shit because it means something to them, but everything that we saw, they basically brought the footage to show when George Floyd got apprehended, number one, and then everything that happened, like from when he got apprehended to when they asked both Maurice and Shawanda to get out the car, and them, basically checking the car, searching the car, stuff like that. They this video has absolutely nothing that has anything to do with the case at all. Like they just wanted to show this video just to prove their point. Their point really doesn't their point doesn't stand on anything. But they felt as though that it was important. So since they think it's important, I want y'all to see their importance of whatever they think is important, and here it goes. There's George on the ground. There's Maurice and Shawanda over there talking to Derek Chauvin, but Officer Tutal is talking to George. Is that them? No, I'm sorry. Let me pause this because I'm giving y'all bad information. So I apologize for that. That's Lane and that's King. Officer Lane and Officer King. So I'm sorry for that, for telling y'all that. Derek Chauvin and Tutal came after the fact. Once, I'm guessing George was giving King a bad time, Officer King a bad time. So let's resume the video. So Tutal and Chauvin pulled up to the scene after the fact. So that's Derek Chauvin's body cam footage that they're showing here. So here we go.
Okay.
Like, this footage is too long.
All right, why don't you stand right there, okay? Okay. She has to give my partners their names or no?
All right. I'm not going to bore y'all with that. So, all right. So, the person that we all came here to see, well, not really, other than me, but the person I'm talking about is the prosecuting attorney's ace in the hole. Is Dr. Martin Tobin. Dr. Martin Tobin, everybody please give a hand clap for Mr. Martin Tobin, please. Because Martin Tobin, in his rebuttal statement, is basically the cherry on top of all of this. To me, he was the icing on the cake, and he's also the cherry on top. For the simple fact that with his 46 years of experience and knowledge in his field, as he's a pulmonary heart doctor, sorry. So when he got back to the witness stand to rebut Dr. Fowler's claims of cause of death, excuse me, it was all wrong. It was all wrong. So I'm gonna play a short bit of this, and hopefully I got it queued in the right spot. If not, I'll find it when he starts talking about it. But this shit is beautiful when he starts talking about this shit. So let me turn the music down, and I'm gonna let him talk for you. We'll talk to us.
My name is Martin Tobin.
Mr. Blackwell.
Good morning, Dr. Tobin.
Mr. Blackwell?
Thank you for rejoining us. I've got just a few follow-up questions to ask you in rebuttal. But first, just so you're introduced to the jury, you're a pulmonologist.
Correct. Lung specialist. Yeah.
Critical care physician.
Yeah, intensive care doctor.
And you studied the physiology of breathing for 46 years.
Correct.
Yeah. I want to first ask you about the issue of Mr. Floyd's potential exposure to carbon monoxide.
Yes.
Were you able to hear testimony regarding this yesterday?
Yes, I was.
Were you able to see this particular slide in the highlighted statement at the bottom? In 7 minutes, Mr. Floyd's carboxyhemoglobin could have increased by 10 to 18%.
All right. Now, with attorney Jerry Blackwell, when he brings up the carboxyhemoglobin, this is when Dr. Tobin starts going in. So listen to this.
Yeah, I saw that.
Would you first just tell us right off the bat, do you agree with that proposition that's highlighted there?
No, I do not.
Now, would you tell us what carboxyhemoglobin is?
Carboxyhemoglobin is when the carbon monoxide combines with the protein in the blood that's called the hemoglobin. And so it's the combination of the carbon monoxide and that protein in the blood.
And why is carboxyhemoglobin, again, important?
It's important because when the carbon monoxide binds to the hemoglobin, it displaces the oxygen off the hemoglobin. So you need the oxygen on the hemoglobin. You don't want the carboxy, and it takes it over.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to whether this statement that Mr. Floyd's carboxyhemoglobin could have increased by 10 to 18% is reliable?
No, I believe it is not reliable.
Would you tell the ladies and gentlemen why that statement is not reliable?
I base it on the arterial blood gas that was obtained when Mr. Floyd was in Hennepin County.
Please sidebar.
All right, so look. All right, so I didn't bring this up because I wanted him to say that first. So the reason why they had a sidebar is because this is Thursday. This is Thursday of this week. So before anything happened, because Derek Chauvin made his statement, he pleaded the fifth. I'll let y'all hear that. But they also the prosecuting attorneys and the defense attorneys, they had a little argument. It wasn't like nothing serious, but it was serious to the fact that Dr. Martin Tobin found some new evidence of along the lines of something. It's in the video. I'm sorry. Watch the video. He doesn't have a clip for this. I'm hoping that Star Tribune puts that up. But if you go to I think it's day 20. Let me look at day 26. On day 26, look that video up. Star Tribune, Derek Chauvin Trial. It's around the. Let me get this for you real fast. So around the 1 hour and 10 minute and 17 second mark, that's when Dr. Martin Tobin starts talking about all this. So the prosecuting attorneys almost cost themselves the case by bringing up that they had new evidence that was not admitted into the whole trial until Thursday. So the judge told them there's no way, shape, or form we're going to admit this evidence into the trial. It should have been put in, but you guys didn't do it. It's just found. That's fine, but it's not to be brought up. If he does bring this up in any way, shape, or form, this case will go into a mistrial. So the reason why that they went into a sidebar, not only the defense but also the prosecuting attorneys to talk about this, and they almost, I didn't hear it, but you can see by body language and shit like that, you could see how the defense wanted this. If he did bring that up, if Dr. Martin Tobin did bring that up, you could see how they was so on edge to where they was like, we got him. Derek's off of this whole shit. But it didn't end that way because Dr. Tobin is so fucking meticulous of what the hell he says. There was no way that Dr. Tobin was going to bring up that stuff, because before they even had Dr. Tobin come in, the prosecuting attorneys met with Dr. Tobin and told him specifically, the new evidence that you showed us the other night, do not bring that up. The question that I'm gonna bring up to you is following up from what Dr. Fowler had to say. So bring up what he said. Just rebut what he said when it comes to carboxyhemoglobin. So by him saying what he said, he sort of slid that evidence in, but he never brought it up. So that's the reason why that they had the sidebar. So with that, they deliberate all of that foolishness that's going on right now. But not, in no way, shape, or form did he bring it up to where they was allowed to keep going with what Dr. Tobin had to say. So I'm a come on, where's it at? There it goes. So I'm gonna play it here.
Be sustained, but just rephrased.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Chauvin, is you prepared to tell us why these results, in your opinion, are not reliable? Could you please help the jury to understand something about oxygen saturation testing in blood?
Right. So if you have, like was done in Mr. Floyd, when he went to Hennepin County, he had an arterial blood gas obtained. So that's sticking a needle into the artery at the wrist, and you take out the blood. And then on the blood gas measurements, you measure a number of different items on that, like the pressure of oxygen in the blood, the pressure of carbon dioxide, the amount of acid in the blood, or the pH. And you get all these different measurements, and you also get the oxygen saturation, and that is the how much of the hemoglobin, the protein in the blood that carries the oxygen, how much of that hemoglobin is saturated with oxygen. And we know in Mr. Floyd that it was 98% saturated.
So that.
All right. So I'm gonna leave that there. So yes, it didn't cost him the case. They was able to rebut. He was able to rebut everything and refute everything, and he was able to get his points out, and he was able to give the prosecuting attorneys everything that they needed to put Derek in the ground. As far as the case goes, not like actually, you know what I'm saying? So your boy, Mr. Chauvin, he he didn't. So I said the first week, if the prosecuting attorneys are allowed to get Derek on the stand, that'll be golden. That'll put his ass further into the ground than what he already is. So on Thursday, this was the first part of what I was talking about. Derek Chauvin pleaded the fifth, and I'll let him take. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm gonna let Derek Chauvin take it from here.
To remain silent. Do you understand that? Yes.
Wait a minute.
Conversation.
Wait a minute.
Personal representation of you relevant to your right to testify or to choose to remain silent, correct? That's correct. During the course of our representation, it's fair to say that you and I have had this conversation multiple times, correct? Correct. You understand that you have the Fifth Amendment privilege to remain silent. Do you understand that? Yes. You understand that if you choose to exercise that right to remain silent, neither the state nor the court can comment on your silence as a sign or an indication of guilt. Meaning they can't say he didn't get up and defend himself, so equate your silence with guilt. Do you understand that? Yes. All right. Now, you also understand that you can waive that right and testify. Do you understand that? Yes, I do. You understand that if you chose not to testify, or if you did in fact testify, you would be subject to cross-examination by the state of Minnesota.
Now, the way that the judge was looking at him, was looking at both of them, I feel like that the judge, in a way, counseled the defense into this. Now, that's the judge's job, on not to take sides, hear everything, hear the evidence, whatever. But I feel like Judge Cahill counseled the whole defense team into this. Not saying that that's a bad thing. He's doing his job as a judge and as a past lawyer, but you can see how, in a way, that this is smart for the defense, because if the prosecuting attorneys would have had the chance to cross-examine them, it would have been off with Derek Chauvin's head, which would have been beautiful. I would have loved to see that I would have loved to see I would love to see that orchestra work. Okay. so 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 yeah. So this is also else, we'll hear from him. So I'm sorry for stopping it, but this is a key moment as well in the trial.
Were cross-examined by the state. We could not attempt to limit the scope of your testimony. The state would have a broad latitude to ask questions. Yes. We've had this conversation repeatedly, correct? Correct. I have repeatedly advised you that this is your decision and your decision alone, right? Correct. I have advised you, and we have gone back and forth on that. You kind of understand, right? Yes, it is. But after...
Okay, I'm going to stop here again real fast. This is the first and only time that we hear from Derek throughout this whole trial. So, by me saying that this is a key point, this is a very big key point in this case, because hadn't he not pleaded the fifth in this, the prosecuting attorneys would have roasted his ass. Plus, I still want to know, and I brought this up, because since the start of the trial, Derek Chauvin has been writing in his little legal notepad. I said this in the first week. What the fuck is he writing? Is he writing a book? And if he is, what the hell is the book going to be about? Because normally when it comes to people writing books and it's their first book, it's normally autobiographical. So if it would have been an autobiography leading up to the point to the case, then who the hell? Well, I know who would read that, freaking cop enthusiasts and all that other shit. But I am so upset that that they did this. That like, why the hell did Ivan say anything about him going to the stand? There's been multiple people that I have looked at on YouTube and read articles of this whole case, of it coming out like every day. They've said also that the prosecuting attorney should have a chance to speak to Derek Chauvin. And hadn't we said any of that, but it probably was in the works, but God works in mysterious ways. If we would have never said anything, Derek probably would have been sitting on the stand that day telling his side of the story. And I apologize to everybody for opening up my big mouth, and I hope everybody else apologizes for opening up their big mouths as well. So let's get back to it.
In the meeting last night, we had some further discussion, right? And have you made a decision today whether you intend to testify or whether you intend to invoke your Fifth Amendment privilege? I will invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege today.
Okay. Mr. Chauvin, I'm going to say directly because the decision whether or not to testify is entirely yours. In other words, it's a personal right. Mr. Nelson makes a lot of the decisions in trial, but one he cannot make for you is whether or not you testify. And he can give you advice, and you can take that advice or reject that advice. But the decision ultimately has to be yours and not his. Is this your decision not to testify?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any questions about your right to remain silent or to testify on your own behalf?
Not at this time, I don't.
All right. Does anyone promise anything or threaten you in any way to keep you from testifying?
No promises or threats, Your Honor.
Do you feel that your decision not to testify is a voluntary one on your behalf?
Yes, it is.
Now, in addition to that, I'm convinced then that this is your personal decision and that you are aware of your rights. But there is a jury instruction that may be read to the jury. This, again, is the one that you get to weigh in on. It's not for your lawyer to make the decision. Again, he can give you advice, and I don't want to know what the advice is, but you can accept the advice or reject the advice as to whether or not to give this instruction. If you would like, I can read this instruction to the jury. It's titled, Defendant's Right Not to Testify. The state must convince you by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of the crime charged. The defendant has no obligation to prove innocence. The defendant has the right not to testify. This right is guaranteed by the federal and state constitutions. You should not draw any inference from the fact that the defendant has not testified in this case. Do you understand that instruction?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you like that read to the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had enough time to talk to Mr. Nelson about whether that's a good idea or not?
I have, Your Honor.
All right. And so I will read that to the jury on your request.
Thank you.
All right. So he made
Yes, Your Honor,
made
this
his rebuttal. Well, not his rebuttal, but he gave his little, telling everybody, I don't want to make my right able for the I did put that in there. I don't really think I need that. But anyway, so okay, so with that being said, the defense wanted to sequester the jury on Monday. Now, the reason why he wanted them to sequester the jury early is because what was going on with the let me share my screen, with the whole Daunte Wright thing. So while that was happening with the Daunte Wright stuff, and I'm gonna get into that in a second, the prosecutor, the defense wanted the jury to basically, like when you get sequestered, that's basically you basically staying, I guess, in a hotel. You're not allowed to watch. Every day the judge says, don't watch the news, don't talk to anybody. So that's basically taking them away from their families and stuff like that, just for anybody who doesn't know what being sequestered is, or whatever. So with that, the judge declined. He said, no, we got a lot to get through, and they'll be sequestered at my request. And since this was basically the last week of the trial until next Monday Eastern time, they're gonna do their closing statements on Monday morning on Eastern time at 10 o'clock. But for them, it's 9 o'clock. But for me, it's 10 o'clock. So anybody who's watching this on the East Coast, it's 10 o'clock. And then everybody else who's watching anywhere else in the country, you go from there. So, since the judge didn't want that to happen, and he wanted everything to go as usual, this is what the defense wanted to do.
Requesting, again, sequestration of the jury in view of the incidents of last night. As the court, I'm sure, is aware, an officer-involved shooting took place in the city of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. As a result of that, there was some fairly extensive civil unrest that occurred. I would note for the court that we have at least one juror who's a resident of that particular city, and other jurors who have connections to Brooklyn Center. Given that this is obviously a high-profile case, this is a case that evokes a lot of emotion for a lot of people. Ultimately, Your Honor, the question becomes: will the jury be confident to make a decision regardless of the potential outcome of their decision? There's two possible verdicts here, right? Guilty or not guilty. And my concern is that these jurors, and it's been an ongoing concern that a juror in Hennepin County being exposed extensively to the media before coming in and serving as a juror, being at least initially cautioned only to avoid news about this particular incident. We've questioned one juror already about whether she had seen some particular pieces of information that had not been presented in court. She, I felt, had credible responses to the court. But ultimately, this incident, while it is, I understand it's not this case. I understand that it is not involved, that it is guilty, because I'm concerned about the outcome.
He's basically just babbling on, and then the prosecutor and attorneys also, they basically call for a motion of not doing it, but that really doesn't matter. What matters is that the judge told him no. And with that, with the Derek Chauvin stuff, I'm done with that story. But to go on with the Daunte Wright story, 10 miles away from the Hennepin County's the Hennepin County Courthouse in Brooklyn Center, Daunte was killed by, now they're calling the police officer by two different last names. They're either saying Kim Porter or Kim Potter. So if you hear me saying her name throughout this whole thing, I'm gonna say each time Kim Potter or Kim Porter. You're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. Okay, because every article I've read either has Porter or Potter. Every video I've looked at says Porter or Potter. So the news anchors don't know, and the journalists don't even know. So, and that's making me think that they're still trying to bury this shit in a way. But anyway, Daunte Wright was killed by Kim Porter or Kim Potter. It happened like last Friday, last Saturday, or whatever. And he and the heinous shit that he got pulled over for, which is also a law here in the in the county I live in here in Maryland. And I'm pretty sure it's written the same way how Brooklyn Center's law is written. It basically states, and I'm gonna leave the road out of it as well. It says that no occupant that's operating a motor vehicle is allowed to have anything hanging from the rear view mirror to obstruct their vision to drive or something like that. Now, this is what I say to that, and I said this to the police officer when he pulled me over. I told him, I said, whatever his name was, but I said, do you really think that this lonely ass, and it wasn't even an air freshener, You know those flags that you see that people hang from the rear view, like you see either the Puerto Rican flag or Italian or Mexican flag, whatever. So I have a red, black, and green flag, which is basically the flag that Marcus Garvey came up with for black people across the planet or world or whatever. So I had that hanging from my rear view. So he gave me my ticket, and I read what the ticket was for: obstruction of view. And I told the officer, I said, yo, man, you really gonna give me a ticket for this? How's this obstructing my view? He said, well, it's obstructing your view for the simple fact that if you can't see something that your flag is in your line of sight of, you won't be able to see it. I said, do you know how ridiculous that is? I said, why would I be looking anywhere where this damn flag is at? I said, if anything, when I'm looking through my windshield, I can see everything. So how is this obstructing my view? So he said, look, I don't make up the laws, man. I just enforce them. Just, there's your ticket. Pay it if you have to, or refute it in court if you have to. I said, all right, have a nice day. And it's a bogus ass, bullshit ass law. But not only that, for Daunte, Daunte was basically pulled over for the simple fact that his mother said that he didn't have his insurance on him, so he called his mom and told him his mom told him whenever the police officer comes back to the car, put me on the phone with him and I'll let him know all the insurance information that he has to know, and the policy ID numbers and everything that he needs to look up that you have insurance. So not only that, his license plates were expired. Now, everybody's license plate are expired. That had to be renewed either last year or this year. Everybody's fucking license plate is expired. Now, I believe when the governors had their little meetings last year about when it comes to take civilians taking care of certain stuff when it comes to like their motor vehicles, their licenses, IDs, and stuff like that. They also possibly had police. Well, I'm pretty sure when they went to their own states, they had their meetings with police chiefs as well, and stating the same thing, have a little more leniency because we're in a pandemic. Not everybody can get to the motor vehicle, so make sure you're lenient when you pulling people over. Now, the reason of why Daunte was pulled over is because he had a possession of marijuana fine that he didn't pay. The reason why he didn't pay it is because Daunte was paying his his fine in installments. Now, was I would say it was last month's installment. Last month's installment didn't make it to him for the simple fact that the statement wasn't delivered to his address. It was delivered to the wrong address. So with anyone, how would they know that the statement came if they didn't get it so they could pay it? So I understand the warrant, but what I don't understand is that how can you put, well, I can understand how they can put somebody on warrant, but what I'm not understanding is that how can you, if even if he told you, and maybe his parents would have been able to tell Kim and the other two police officers that was with him that he didn't receive that statement, so therefore how would he know to pay his fine? And who knows where the hell the damn statement went to? But all we know is that Daunte isn't here now because of the negligence of Kim not knowing her fucking firearm from her motherfucking stun gun. Now, y'all probably have been hearing this all week, but this is what everyone doesn't understand. How do you mistaken your service weapon, which is supposed to be on your dominant side? My dominant side is my right side. My least dominant side is my left side, depending on what I'm doing, though. But if I was a police officer and I was apprehending the suspect, he's pulling away, I would know, okay, he's not doing anything to harm me, but he's trying to get away. Okay, so I either have my pepper spray option or I have my stun gun option. A baton or a gun does not fall into, apprehending him if when it comes to this to what Daunte did. So only a stun gun or pepper spray was able to be used because of use of force. We're learning use of force when it comes to the George Floyd case. Now, with the use of force thing, I'll back up a little bit. The person that was apprehending Daunte was a rookie that Kim Porter was training. Not only that, Kim Porter has 26 years of experience on the job, and not only that, she's a trainer of of future officers. So what the whole country's not understanding is that how is it that you pull your service weapon and you yell taser, 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 but you shot him, and then in disbelief you go, oh my gosh, I just shot him. Now this goes with the George Floyd case, because the negligence of Derek Chauvin not understanding, and this shit is happening in the same state, might I tell you. Not only is it happening in the same state, Brooklyn Center is 10 miles outside of the Minneapolis city lines. So basically, I don't know what that county would be. I guess it would still be Hennepin County as well, maybe. If not, Minneapolis City County or something like that. I don't know. So how's it that the person? So how's it that Kim Porter, used her service weapon instead of her? That basically tells me, and I know I didn't finish that point, but that tells me that you went off of instinct, Kim. You went off of instinct because it looks like that you're used to doing this shit by pulling your gun out. How's it that you have 26 years of experience and you yell taser, you hear yourself yelling taser, and you see yourself pulling your service weapon? How is it that you yell taser if your taser is here? Now, it's certain places where cops put their stun gun or their taser. Usually with some cops, they might wear it around, like by their chest or something, so they can just pull it easily. Whatever, it's right there. If they look down, it's right there in line of sight. Or, like I just said, they'll wear it on their least dominant side, which her police chief basically said that as well. That people who we wear our service weapons on our dominant side. So either if you're left-handed or right-handed, your dominant side, your service weapon always goes on your dominant side. Then your stun gun goes on your least dominant side. So how is it that she didn't think that I'm reaching for my service weapon? And you're yelling taser. The shit is fucking absurd. So, so she's facing second degree manslaughter charges for this. So I want to know, how's it that it's second degree? Well, I had a discussion with a lady at my job. Shout out to Patty. Patty, if you're watching, I appreciate the conversation we had. Was it 2 weeks ago? I appreciate that conversation we had. So, so when we was talking about charges, we was basically talking about the Derek Chauvin charges because I'm the only person that I know that's watching the trial from start to finish. So, so we started talking about Derek Chauvin's charges, and he's facing, I think, third degree manslaughter, if not second degree manslaughter charges. I think it's third degree manslaughter charges he's facing. So manslaughter is basically like if manslaughter charges is basically if me and you get into a fight and I hit you to the point to where you pass out and die, that's manslaughter. So since she shot him and he was able to drive off for, I think, like he drove for maybe 2 miles and then he hit a car and then he died. I don't know if the impact of him hitting the car itself killed him, or if the bullet itself killed him, or whatever, by him losing too much blood. But his lady friend that was in the car with him would only know because she was in the car. She was right on the passenger side with Daunte, so she would know when he passed away more than what anybody else that's speculating. So his mom and his father have been doing interviews, and they've brought that up or whatever about how the young lady told them when he passed. So if y'all want to look at that, I'd suggest y'all research that because I do not have that in my list of videos that I'm playing. But if you guys want to look that up, go ahead and look that up because and I have something to do with the family doing interviews as well. But since everything's been unfolding, people went to go and peacefully protest Daunte's passing by the hands of Kim Porter or whatever. So a visual was set in honor of Daunte. I think it was I want to say Monday or Tuesday. So so his visual was set for 7 p.m. So you'll hear it was one police chief. He says, "We have knowledge, we have intelligence of everything that's happening around us. We know where these protest groups are meeting, and we know where to find people to know where and to know where to go, where they will be at." So when they set the candlelight visual for Daunte to honor his life and, allow the family to speak and talk about the goodness of Daunte and how good of a person he was. The fucking mayor of Brooklyn Center set their curfew to 7 o'clock. So anybody out past 7 will be arrested. So there have been some looting that happened. There have been, but overall, there's been peaceful protests or whatever. So when the protesters were being arrested for violating curfew, they was loading them up on like tour buses. You know, the buses that people get on when you go on the Six Flags and shit like that. They was loading people up in those. So from what I've heard, there's been like 70 to like 80 people that have been arrested so far, which is fucking absurd. So not only is the police out there, the National Guard is already there for the simple fact for the George Floyd trial. For in case whenever the verdict comes out, the city of Minneapolis wants to be ready for it. But you can't stop what eventually what's on everybody's mind. If it's just like when the Rodney King verdict came out, you heard director what's his name? His name is blanking on me. He just passed like maybe like a year or two ago. The director of Boys in the Hood. I forgot his name. His name's blanking. So he said on camera, if these police officers are not found guilty for what they did, this whole damn city is gonna explode. I'm paraphrasing, but it was along the lines of that. And when everybody wasn't charged with any of the crimes that they committed, the whole city of LA erupted. You can watch this whole thing of the of before how things were in LA, the Rodney King video, the trial, and then the eruption of LA. You can watch all this on a documentary called LA 92. So I'm pretty sure if you can't watch it on Netflix, just look it up on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing from start to finish on YouTube. So the operation is that they got going on with the police and the National Guard is called Operation Safety Net. So Operation Safety Net is basically them apprehending any protest or anybody that's out past curfew and basically locking them up and charging them for some bogus shit. Basically, I'm guessing that charge would be not obstruction of justice, but disobeying a direct order. Maybe I think it'll be by law enforcement, whatever. But what I was thinking was, okay, okay, so since since the curfew is set at 7, what if people have to work? If people have to work and they have to either come home past curfew, or if they have to leave around 7 past curfew, will they be locked up as well? Because if so, that's not fair. People have the right to make a living, and they shouldn't be stopping people. Which I watched a video where it was a care a Minneapolis news channel, Care ABC or NBC. They they stopped the guy on the road, told him get out of his car. They put him in cuffs, and they rallied him because their base of operations was some gas station. So and, and, and the gas station name is funny as shit. It's called the gas station was called the Pump and Munch. so 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 yeah, man. Like so, basically the cops are out there, basically enforcing a dispersal order for all the protesters to go home or whatever. But it's not like they're giving them a chance to go home or whatever. They're basically out there in riot gear with shields and shit and chasing people down or tackling them and handcuffing them and loading them up on to coach buses. So how's it that you got the dispersal order, Operation Safety Net in effect, and you're telling people either to leave or to go home, and if they don't comply, you're locking them up, knowing that the reason why they're out there is because they're protesting the wrongful death of Daunte Wright, and along with his family as well. So why is it that they're doing that? So I feel like the first people's First Amendment anywhere here in America is being infringed upon lately due to people having outrage. And I understand, but I don't understand this for the simple fact that you know why people are out there. You know that there are opportunists that will take it into their own hands and start looting businesses. For the simple fact is that when you have people that don't have shit and then they have the time, they see the time that they can get some shit, then shit like this brings attention to that, and you know that when people don't have shit, they take shit. So, and as far as what I understand, these businesses have damn near everything insured and guaranteed. So they get a kickback for stolen items. I learned this shit when I knew some people that was stealing from Walmart. That the the product is all insured and it's all guaranteed. And if anything gets stolen, it's not like that they can put for some reason they can't put the stolen goods back on the shelf for some reason. So they get a kickback from I guess the manufacturer or something, or whatever. So whatever. So so I haven't seen any of the leaders from BLM or but Ben Crump's been out there already in Minneapolis with the family. And you know what his deal is? He wants to get he wants to get the family a payout. And I'll say this again. To the families who've lost their loved one that lost their loved ones. I'm more so talking to Dante's family. Whatever you do, and I know that there's probably a gag order on after you take that money. You can no way, shape, or form talk about this again. And if there is a gag order on that money that they might get, or the families that have gotten the money, but I know of I think Trayvon Martin's mom didn't. his parents didn't accept a payout. I'm not sure. I didn't look this up. I'm trying to think if they did or if they didn't. But if they did, then whatever. But please do not accept that money for the simple fact that it doesn't bring your son back. I know it's nice to have it, but it doesn't bring your son back. It doesn't bring your family member back. So do not accept that money. Just tell Ben, and I'm gonna tell Ben Crump myself if you see this. You need to stop trying to get payouts from from uh from these police departments. What you need to do, you need to start talking to your other colleagues about getting the book thrown at all of these fucking police officers for doing these heinous ass crimes, thinking that their immunity is going to save them. If they, from what, and one of my favorite movies is End of Watch with Michael Pena and Jake Gyllenhaal. So you see in the beginning of the movie that they're chasing down a car, and then when they do the pit maneuver onto the car crashes, and the guys get out and start shooting. So with them shooting, that allows them to shoot back at the suspects, and they kill them. So when they come back, their commanding officer tells them whatever their characters' names are, they're back. They came back from a shooting incident. It came back that their shooting was clean, but you need to know that if you do shoot your weapon and you do kill someone, it is still considered a crime. So this is what the police need to start thinking. If I pop my gun and I kill somebody, this is still murder until further looked at to see if it's if it was a clean shooting or not. But why isn't it that police departments don't why is it that police departments don't teach more of de-escalation techniques, more so on trying to get these police officers to be around the communities that they're patrolling, basically making themselves known in the community. Allow people to know who the hell you are. Why is it that police departments don't do that? Do you know what police, and I've said this in several other videos that I've done, police train more with hand-to-hand combat and target practice. They spent, because when you become a police officer, you get to own you get the with having the license to kill by having a service weapon by your side. You also get I think you get a certain amount of status to where you can own certain guns. So most of the time, fucking cops buy guns. They shoot those guns as well, and then with everything that's happening with the whole, police thinking that people hate police, and it's not that we hate you, is that we think that you're not doing your fucking job correctly. That's all. And when you start doing your job correctly, then people who you think that hate you won't hate you anymore. That's all. So, and everybody's just asking for justice and a rightful conviction of murderous ass cops as well too. So so and it's like we black people have been telling this country at large that police more when it comes to us than when it comes to them, to anybody else. They use so many fucking excuses when it comes to us than anybody else. Black people have a bigger pain a bigger pain tolerance than anybody else. They can accept pain more than anybody else. Black people who get locked up are bad people. They're either drug dealers or drug users. It's like that's not even the fucking the real case to everything. Like you need to people need to chill the fuck out when it comes to that shit for real. So so this is a short video. If you haven't seen the the video of Daunte Wright's murder, but I will show you this now. It's graphic, so if you have children around, or if this affects you health wise, I suggest you not watch it. But I'm about to play the video, so here we go. There's a service pistol. So check this out. She was training that black officer, that rookie. She was training him. So she goes and tells him that he has a warrant out for his arrest. So this is me. Of course, they have to talk to him about why he has a warrant out. Why isn't it that? And I'm not agreeing with him being murdered, but this is what I will say. Why isn't it that that rookie didn't apprehend him and sit him or let him either stand in the back of his car or stand by the police car, and if not, put him in the police car? Why isn't it that she went so far, really, because the officer that was on the opposite side of the car, he was trying to de-escalate the situation. From what's been reported, he was trying to de-escalate the situation. But the police chief told when he had a press conference, he said that it has never happened. That was a mistake. What she did, pulling out her service weapon while saying taser, it's never happened before. It was a mistake, and with her 26 years, I call bullshit on that, because How many other times when she probably has been, sorry, how many other times that she's been in on the job and she has done that? Like, how many other times was that? And I call bullshit on that for the simple fact that there was a Minnesota police officer by the name of Muhammad Noor, black guy from the Sudan. That's in Africa for anybody who doesn't know. So this police officer killed a woman by the name of Justine Rizik. Is that how you say her name? Rizik? And from and I seen a side by side of this. When he killed that lady because they was on a call because they was on a call because they had to they was trying to find somebody or something. The lady came out and she asked them what was going on, but she came to the police. She came to the police car or the police interceptor to ask them what was happening. So Muhammad draws a service weapon and shoots her. He faced a $400 fine. I mean a $400,000 fine. Not fine. Sorry. To be able to get out of for him to be able to get out of jail, he had to present $400,000 to Kim Porter or Kim Potter's $100,000 that she has to pay to in order to get out. And let's see. And from Muhammad's 12 and a half years that he has to serve, I think second degree manslaughter gets you what, like 10 years. So she's only going to be seeing 10 years if, well, I'm pretty sure they're going to put in there with good behavior. So if we think about it, she's probably going to do all of maybe 5 to 6 years on this, which is ridiculous. She killed somebody. And just like Muhammad Noor, he killed somebody, but he's doing 12 and a half. So, it is ridiculous that we're justifying one murder to another. A black police officer killed somebody. He's going to jail for longer than somebody that did the same goddamn thing. This shit is ridiculous. So, I'll take y'all back, and I had to look up Minnesota, like, cops killing people or whatever. So with this one, luckily the man didn't die. But I'm gonna take you back to 2002. A police officer shot a black immigrant. I'm pretty sure he was from. I want to say he was Sudanese as well. He's either from the Sudan or he's either from like Ghana or Nigeria. But anyway, with that, he was shot like 5 times or something like that. And luckily he lived. So he took it to trial. He got 90,000 from that. His name is Korisnafar Atak. So that's him. That's the man who got shot by a police officer back in 2002. But I'll bring y'all forward a little bit. Who remembers Philando Castile? And this was in Minneapolis as well. He got shot by a police officer while his family was in the car. His wife got put in handcuffs and put in the back of a police car. But not only did his wife, but his 2-3-year-old daughter watch Philando fade until he died. Nothing happened to that cop at all. He didn't go to jail. He didn't have to pay a fine. Nothing happened to him. But Philando had the paperwork on him that could state that I have a license to carry, which Minnesota is a open carry state. So why is it that he's trying to present his ID and his open carry license to you? You shoot the man, but nothing happened to you. Whatever your fucking name is, I hope you die in hell. So fucking Kim Potter, or whatever. I want to know if she has any other complaints toward her when it comes to stuff like what she did. I wonder if there's any more type of complaints that she has. So with this whole the family's been on has been on the news lately since this has happened. And I want to say to the family, you're mourning, all right? I suggest you allow your legal team to do all your talking for you. Just give them key points to bring up or whatever. But I feel like and this may sound a little insensitive of what I'm saying, but I want y'all to listen to me. I feel like the family should not be talking right now. They should be grieving for their lost loved one. So, freaking, I didn't even share this ugly bitch's photo with y'all. Freaking, here she goes right here. That's Kim Potter. Anyway, how's it that you got 26 years of experience? Never mind. I'll get back to that. But anyway, Ben Crump and whoever the other guy was that was in the recent interview, they should be doing all of your talking for you guys. I want you guys to grieve, okay? But along with your grieving, you know what I mean, with everything that his aunt was saying and whatever, like his smile could light up a room. I want y'all to remember that about Daunte, because instead of y'all, because okay, I know that y'all are hurting, but before you see him again, well, before you guys put his body into the ground, please think about all the good times y'all had. You know what I'm saying? Think about all that stuff before you guys get to his funeral, and you know all the emotions just come at you. This time is made for remembrance. It's not made to be doing these fucking interviews so these fucking news stations can be so they can get the new hot story or whatever. Like, I wouldn't even allow them to do that to me. So just take my words. Spend the rest of your time giving your time to grieve and time to remember Daunte. Okay? So that's that with the Daunte story. And what I want to know as well is that I want any police department to tell me this. How is it that you don't know your service weapon from your taser? Now, I will say, not all stun guns look like the one that's presented right there. Some of them look like service weapons, but they have like a caution block on them, or whatever, to let you know that it's not actually a gun. But some of them do look like guns. Not all of them look the way how that one looks. So, what I want to know is, and any police department can tell me this, even my police department here in the town I live in, you let me know how's that you can misidentify what the fuck you're grabbing from whatever side is dominant of yours. That's what I want to know. But that's all I really have to say about the Daunte story. So, what we get into next, and we all have seen it as of right now. We have seen a man that has served this country for us, and I won't even go off of the points of how the country says it. I'll just say that this man has served the country for us, and he has put himself into harm so we wouldn't have to. And the person I'm talking about is Second Lieutenant Caron Nazario. So Second Lieutenant Caron Nazario is 27 years old. He's a Black and Latino man that was on his way from a military conference to, not know, I don't know what the conference was about, but when he was stopped, he was in the middle of moving some of his stuff somewhere, and he was in the middle of moving. So I'm guessing after he came from the conference, he just thought, hey, I can put some of this stuff that I got into the new place of where I'm moving to, and you know what I'm saying, I can get that handled, and I can get some rest for the night. So Lieutenant Nazario was pulled over by Officer Crocker and Officer Joe Gutierrez on what the rookie cop called a felony traffic stop. I won't go any further. I'm going to let you guys see this shit for yourselves. So, that's this picture that I have up is Lieutenant Nazario in all of his valor. I'm guessing he graduated from whatever college he graduated from, in his military garb, his military ceremony garb. So you have Gutierrez, who drawed his gun along with Officer Crocker. For what? But I'll let y'all see this. I don't have any more pictures to share, so I don't have to worry myself about that anymore. But I want you guys to see this video. I'm not going to play all of it. I'm just going to play it up to the point to where he was pepper sprayed, okay? So I'm going to turn this down, and I'm going to play the video.
Driver, roll the window down! Felony traffic stop.
Did y'all hear that? I'll play it over. It doesn't matter. I'll play it over.
Driver, roll the window down.
Felony traffic stop.
Put your hands out the window.
How? How was it a felony traffic stop? If he was trying to, and I do this myself. If the cops are behind me and there's a dark area, I do not stop. I go until I see when there's where I can see a well lit area. I do not stop in dark areas because you don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. That's number one. Number two is that the reason why they called it a felony traffic stop is for the simple fact that he didn't stop when they put on their police sirens and lights. Now, cops believe that when they're exercising their right of authority, that what they say goes. But what they don't understand is that we have rights too. So in order for us to help you, we have to help you so y'all can help us. Okay? So that was smart for Lieutenant Nazario. I keep saying Lieutenant Nazario. Every time I address him, I'm either going to say either Lieutenant Caron Nazario or just Lieutenant Nazario. Okay? So, he basically said that he wanted to stop there because he wanted to feel safe as well as making y'all feel safe. So let's get back into the video.
Put your hands out the window. Turn the vehicle off. Put your hands out the window.
I can't tell.
Put your hands out the window and turn the vehicle off. Put your hands out the window.
He's not compliant, Jeff.
Come around your side. Let me see your hands. How many occupants are in the vehicle?
What's going on?
How many occupants are in your vehicle?
It's only myself. Why are your weapons drawn? What's going on?
Open the door.
Now, good point. Why is your weapons drawn if this is just a traffic stop? A traffic stop is a minor offense, if none at all. So why is y'all's guns drawn? If you wanted to stop them, which I think it was a mile and a half down the road, and it was a dark area, and he wanted to get to a well-lit area so y'all could feel safe and he could feel safe, why is it that your guns are fucking drawn? Now, I've never gotten to that point to where guns was drawn on me or anybody I was in the car with. But I have saw when I got pulled over one time, I was with a girlfriend of mine and her 4-year-old daughter at the time. Maybe she was 5. I can't remember. Both cops walked up to my car, one on each side, with their hands on their fucking guns. So I rolled my window down just a little bit. I didn't roll it down a lot because y'all ain't reaching into my shit. I looked at both sides and I said, "Excuse me, officer," and I was irate. I said, "Excuse me, officer, why is it that when I watch both of y'all walk up to this car, y'all had y'all's hands on y'all's fucking guns? This makes me uncomfortable. I would like to see y'all's commanding officer come out here, please, because I don't trust neither one of y'all." So he wanted to get into the whole shebang. Well, do you know why I pulled you over for? I really don't give a fuck at this point for the simple fact that I don't trust y'all by having y'all's fucking hands on y'all's guns. I really don't trust your commanding officer for the simple fact that I don't know how the hell he's going to pull up here and what the hell y'all going to tell him. So I'm in a lose-lose right now, and I have my fucking girlfriend and my fucking stepdaughter in the back. Why is your fucking hands on your guns? They didn't have an explanation. So I expected them not having an explanation why. Because there's no reason why you guys should have your fucking hands on your fucking guns. And What the hell y'all thinking about doing to me by having your fucking hands on y'all's guns? This was right after. This was a few days later after the Mike Brown shit was happened. If y'all could know the fear that I had, because I didn't know if I was gonna make it home or if my girlfriend was gonna make it home, and not only that, I really didn't care about myself. I cared more about my girlfriend's daughter the most, and I also cared about my girlfriend. So her daughter had more of a thought in my mind than my girlfriend, because I cared about her more than her. So if you're watching, that's how I felt. I'm just saying. But so the commanding officer didn't come out, nor did they try to radio him. They just issued me my citation and sent me on my way. But so both of y'all for giving me that fucking 400 and what was it? It was damn near a $500 fine. It was ridiculous, but I'll get back into this video.
Slowly step out. Open the door.
I'm not getting out the vehicle. What's going on?
Get out of the car. Open the door slowly and get out.
What's going on?
Get out of the car now. Open the door and get out of the car.
Hold. Keep your hands outside the window. Keep your hands outside the window.
My hands are right here. What's going on?
Get out of the car now.
Get out of the car.
What's going on?
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car now.
I'm serving this country and this is how I'm treated?
Yo, but guess what? I'm a veteran too. I don't know, babe. Get out of the car.
What's going on?
Get out of the car now.
So the reason why they pulled him over, and I'm going to keep playing the video. I'm just going to stop it from time to time. The reason why they stopped him is because they couldn't visibly see a license plate. But if they used their fucking eyes, because Gutierrez had fucking glasses on, so Crocker should have used his 20/20 vision to see that in his darkly tinted vehicle that he had his license plate on cardboard taped to the back window. Y'all got all these bright ass fucking lights. Why don't y'all use them to see if they're, so y'all can see the license plate number? Like, I don't understand this shit. Like, y'all had y'all's guns drawn for fucking nothing.
What's going on?
What's going on? You're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
I'm sorry, what?
Do y'all know what riding the lightning means? Riding the lightning means that I'm about to tase you. And knowing them, they probably would have turned it up as far as possible on the damn gun to make them actually feel everything or whatever. But from what I understand, military personnel get pepper sprayed and they get tased, so they can understand what it feels like when they do it to someone else. It's just like police training. And when that happens, when they go through that training, they're told to stay calm at all times, and you'll see his demeanor. But I'm pretty sure everybody has seen this video as well. But you'll see his demeanor of how he's reacting to him being pepper sprayed. So.
What's going on?
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car!
Sir, just get out of the car. Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out of the car.
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, you should be. Get out.
What's going on? What
get out of the car.
Get out now.
I have not committed any crimes.
You really stopped a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest
for a traffic.
You're being detained. You're being detained for
a traffic violation. I do not have to get out the vehicle.
How is that obstruction of justice if he didn't stop when he wanted you to stop? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Plus, y'all got y'all's guns drawn for nothing. You can see how calm he is, but y'all steady escalating the situation for nothing. So, I'm sorry. Here we go.
You haven't even told me why I'm being stopped.
Really?
Get your hands.
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me, please. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
Hold up.
Get your hands off me.
Hold up. I don't know when I'm going to be in Windsor, Virginia, and I hope I never have to go to Windsor, Virginia for anything. I hope no family member of mine lives in Windsor, Virginia, because if this is how they act just for a traffic stop, I wonder how the fuck they act with everything else.
I didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir, get out of the car now.
That.
Hey, get out of the car now.
Don't do. I'm trying to talk to you.
Okay.
I'm trying to talk to you.
Just
Relax. Can you please relax? Can you please relax?
Get out of the car right now.
This is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're gonna treat me. I didn't do anything. Whoa, hold on. Let's go. Hold on. Watch it.
Air Force is deployed. Get out of the car! Get out of the car now!
That's fucked up. That's fucked
Get out of the car now! Sir, just get out of the car!
I'm trying to breathe.
Get out of the car now!
That's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Get out of the car and get on the ground now! Get.
I don't even want to reach my seatbelt. Can you?
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car!
Can you please?
Get out of the car now! Listen! Take off your seatbelt and get out of the car!
Look, I'm just gonna please.
You're gonna do what you're told. Get out of the car!
Look.
Take your seatbelt off and get out.
Look.
Take your seatbelt off.
Look, my hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
My hands are out. My hands are out. Please. Please, look. This is really messed up. I'm going to the back. My dog is choking right now.
Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist or what are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
Now, I want to know why the hell they're fucking talking to him like that when, in all actuality, he outranks the both of them. So, with all of this bullshit that we see right now, Gutierrez, you can see that he's more of a European Spanish, and then you got Lieutenant Nazario, which is an African descent Latino. You can see where the opposing side of the European Latino or Spanish is trying to throw his authority around to a man that's serving this country for him. Now we later understand that Gutierrez and his wife both served the country themselves, but fuck both of y'all. But you are acting crazy towards a army lieutenant. You acting crazy towards an army lieutenant. Now, I'm gonna play some more until they apprehend him. But that was fucked up for them to pepper spray him because he didn't feel safe by stepping out of the car. And I'll tell you, well, it's not a reason why he was. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say when it comes to why he didn't want to step out the car, because he wanted You can see he wants to comply. But I'm gonna keep playing this.
You may explain what you're gonna have me if you just comply. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Straight on the ground. Straight onto the ground. Ma'am.
Is your commanding officer available?
Now, let's go.
Is your commanding officer available?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Please talk to
Get
me
on the
about
ground
what's
now.
going on.
Get on the ground and get sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Please talk to me about what's
Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Please talk to me
Get on
about
the ground.
what's
Get on the ground.
Please talk to me about what's
Yes,
going
sir.
on.
You're not.
Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Why am I being treated like this?
You're
Why?
not cooperating. Get on the ground.
Why am I being treated like this? This is really messed up. This is really messed up. Sir, well, just this is fucked up. Sir, this is fucked up. Sir, fucked up. You know this is fucked
Lay
up.
down. Lay on the ground. Just lay
You know
flat.
this is fucked
Lay
up.
flat for me, sir.
You know this is fucked up.
Sir, lay flat. Lay
Lay
flat.
This is fucked up. I can't fucking believe I'm being treated like this. And I'm fucking
Get on the ground.
wrong.
Get on the ground. Right there. Right there. What's that?
What the fuck?
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. This shit is sad. That active military personnel that is a lieutenant is being treated like this. He is serving this country because he felt as though in his heart when he joined the army that he wants to make a difference in his life from probably wherever he grew up at, which I think it's New York where he grew up at. So, within further investigation of both Gutierrez and Crocker finds Lieutenant Nazario's service pistol. Now, if y'all know, in 2004, that there was a law passed called the Law Enforcement Act, basically allowing inactive or retired police officers to be able to carry either their service weapon or their own gun out in the open at all times. In 2013, that got extended to military personnel, and that allows them in all 50 states in the nation's capital for them to be able to carry their service weapon, which gives Nazario all the right to carry his service pistol with him. So, after Lieutenant Nazario was pulled over and he was pepper sprayed or whatever, Gutierrez told him that he was going to ride the lightning. Now, that's excessive force. It was excessive force with the pepper spray. So Gutierrez, as of right now, is fired from the department. But knowing the whole that Windsor, Virginia Police Department, they'll probably just transfer him somewhere else. So this is what I wanted to bring up when it comes to Lieutenant Caron Nazario. So it's a man by the name of Charles Welch that lives in either Manhattan, New York, or if not Staten Island, New York. So Charles Welch watched this video as well, along with his wife. And what they saw was their nephew or their cousin being apprehended by the police officers. Now, they watched in fear that their cousin or their nephew was going to be killed the same way, if not the same way how every other black person that this is talked about when it comes to police and black people here in America. They thought that Lieutenant Caron Nazario was going to be, they was going to see him die the same way that their cousin-in-law died. And their cousin-in-law is Eric Gardner. I'm going to let that breathe real fast. Their cousin-in-law, which Caron Nazario knows as well, Lieutenant Caron Nazario knows as well, Eric Gardner. Caron called Eric Gardner Uncle Eric. So how was it that, and this is starting to get scary for the simple fact that not only can a random person be apprehended by a police officer and die in the hands of a police officer, but that also means that someone in your family can also suffer the same fate. So when shit starts overlapping like that, and I've talked about this as well on my channel, my cousin Terry Garnett Jr. was killed by a police officer. He was shot point blank range in his head. Now, I hope nowhere in my family that another cousin of mine suffers the same fate. Cause this made it scary. It's already scary that police officers are negligently killing black people. But what makes it scary is that you can have a loved one as well get killed by a police officer. So just imagine that family, Lieutenant Caron Nazario's family. They just watched a few years back their cousin be choked out by Staten Island or a New York City police. Fast forward, they watched their nephew get apprehended, pepper sprayed, and assaulted by a police officer. I wonder what's running through their minds right now. Because to me, the trust that they probably have for police is probably abysmal. So, what does this say also with someone who's wearing their military uniform too? What does this mean? If they're not even breaking any laws, and I'm pretty sure someone who is in the police, not the police, in the military would never break a law at all. At least I would think that they wouldn't. So, shouldn't the cops have known? I see him in his camos. Obviously, it doesn't look like he's up to nothing bad because he's in his camos. But how's it that you get to harass this man as well? Like, you take him out of the car, and then he receives medical. You pepper spray him, you take him down to the ground, try to explain to him why you did it in a fucked up way. And he receives medical attention while he's still handcuffed, and he's totally complying with everything that you're doing. He just doesn't understand why guns was drawn, why he got pepper sprayed, why you assaulted him. His dog Smoke is fucking choking in the back because you sprayed pepper spray in the car. And at the same time, he presented no fucking threat to you. This is fucking ridiculous. So I got one more video to show, and that's it. That's all for the night, you guys. I got one more video, and that's it. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna have a little brief thing I want to say about it, and that's it. Then I'll get you guys out of here. All right, so here we go.
You have to report by yourself.
Hold on, wait a minute.
You have to report by yourself.
What are you doing here?
All right. I obviously don't have this up on the screen at all, so let me put that up on the screen for y'all. And I'm gonna shut my camera off because I gotta walk off and do something. But I'm gonna play this whole video, then I'm gonna have something to say afterwards. All right. So here we go.
Go away right now.
Hey, they've already been called. They're just waiting. You know what? Maybe you should hang on a little longer. We'll see how it goes. And we won't have to get the report by ourselves.
What are you doing here?
Then walk. Well, you've been here like 15 minutes now.
Let's go. Walk away.
Keep walking.
Walk away. Walk away right now. You need help? I'm happy to help you. I didn't hit you. There's a difference between
Pretty
pushing
sure you were the aggressor, buddy.
You're aggressing on the neighborhood.
Someone came running up.
Walk back.
You walked away. You walked away. You're talking to my wife right now. Walk away. Walk away. Check it out. You can walk away or I'm going to carry your ass out of here. What do you want to do? Or what? What are you going to do? Let's go. Walk away. I'm about to do something to you. You better start walking. You better start walking right now. I ain't coming after you. You're in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. Get out. Get out. Where? Where's your house? What's your address?
Maybe we should walk you home.
Oh, you bet. You want to bet what I can do?
Okay,
Right
where's
now,
your
you're
address?
harassing the neighborhood.
Not harassing me. Walking.
Where?
All right. So I'll stop it there. So, as y'all saw, I think my microphone battery died. So actually no, it didn't. I'm sorry.
Never seen
Yeah.
you before in my life.
So yeah. So as y'all can see, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. So this guy, the white dude, he's in the military. So he saw this young man walking in his neighborhood, basically saying that he doesn't recognize him, he's never seen him, so therefore he doesn't live there, which is fucking ridiculous. So what I'm not understanding is this. Who the fuck are you to step to me when I'm walking in my neighborhood that I live in? This whole neighborhood that I'm walking in is my neighborhood. I can walk here. What makes you think that you can tell me that I can't walk anywhere around in my neighborhood? You must be out your fucking mind. Number two, why is it that when you approached this young man, you was drunk? So therefore, you had an ulterior motive. Not saying that you drunk for the simple fact that you wanted to fuck with somebody, but you was drinking and then seen him walking in the neighborhood. You know you was inebriated. So why the hell are you trying to talk to somebody disrespectfully that's walking in the neighborhood that he lives in? This shit is fucking ridiculous. I thank God, well, Allah. I thank Allah for making sure that whoever your officers in the military was, and they disciplined your ass. But I'm also thank Allah for allowing. And I forgot where this happened at. I thank God also, or whatever, for the police chief or wherever this happened at, charging this motherfucker for harassment. Now, that's more of a minor crime or whatever that, he's being charged for, but still, I think that all the powers to be got to the point to where they I thank God for for everything that they did. They got to the point to where they was able to apprehend this dude. So yeah, that's all I have today, man. I thank you guys for watching. For everybody who's gonna watch the replay, start coming here for the live show, man. Like, come on now. Like, I'm here every Friday at 6:30, and every Saturday at 6:30. No reason why you should be missing this live. So with that, I'm here every Friday and Saturday at 6:30. On Fridays, it's Marcus Speaks Play. On Saturdays, it's Marcus Speaks Live. Follow me on all social media. Well, not all social medias. On the social medias that I'm on, Instagram at marcus.speaks.podcast. Also, on Facebook, the personal page on Facebook is Marcus Speaks. And then the group, the Facebook group page is Marcus Speaks Podcast. And if y'all could subscribe, like, share this, and leave a comment if you will. All right. And with that, if you are here at the live show, don't be shy. Bring y'all's asses into the goddamn the live chat and write some shit in there, because I may not know something that you know of a topic that I'm talking about, and you can help me along with doing this. So, okay. That being said, I'm gonna go, and we'll see you guys next Friday on Marcus Speaks Play at 6:30. Okay, and then I'll be back next Saturday again with another topic. Next week I'm probably gonna cover the closing statements of the Derek Chauvin trial, and if the jury finishes their deliberation next week, I'll be covering if they charge them guilty or innocent. So I'll be covering that next week, along with, I don't know yet, but the whole show won't be about the verdict or the it won't be just the verdict or their closing arguments. I just haven't thought about what else I want to talk about that day. So if y'all could come here next week, I'll have all that good stuff for you, and I'll make sure that I won't disappoint. All right. This is Marcus Speaks. I have been Marcus this entire time, and I thank y'all for watching, and have a good day. I'll see y'all next week. All right, y'all. Thank you.